Today we're going to change the oil on a KTM RFS motor with an HT oil cooler. Now this is an 01, but it will work for any RFS motor, so just check your manual for specifications. Alright, the tools we're going to need today are an oil pan, funnel, contact cleaner, common hand tools, filters, and oil. I'm using Rotella oil because I'm running a Recluse auto clutch, and that is what is recommended, but use whatever oil you feel comfortable running in your bike. Now the first step is to take off the oil fill plug. This isn't a necessary step, but it allows for better drainage flow. Next, we're going to remove the drain plug located on the back bottom side of the motor. It's a magnetic drain plug, and we'll want to spray that off with some contact cleaner and wipe it down to be sure all the particles have been removed. Now, let's remove the long screen head located on the side of the motor. Be sure to clean that as well. After that, we remove the short screen, which is located on an angle on the bottom of your motor. Now you might have an Allen head plug, but I've replaced mine with a 10mm hex head. We'll need to clean this plug as well. Onto the oil cooler drain. There's an Allen bolt about halfway down the side of the cooler that will drain the oil out of the system. So we'll go ahead and remove that. Now it's time to replace all your plugs and screens. So start with the oil cooler bolt. Now install the short screen. Make sure it is seated correctly and take care not to cross thread. Tighten this to 7 foot-pounds. Next up, we'll install the long screen and tighten it to 11 foot-pounds. Finally, we'll install the drain plug and tighten to 15 foot-pounds. Alright, now we're ready to remove the old filters. Now there are two of them, a short and a tall filter. We're going to remove the bolts and pull the covers off each of them. I like to use circlip pliers to grab the inside of the filters. Be sure to save the O-rings and be prepared to lose a little bit of oil. When installing the new filters, I like to take a dab of oil and run it around the filter so it creates a nice seal in the housing. When installing the cover, check the O-ring to make sure it has no damage and it is seated correctly. The bolts and the covers are tightened to 5 foot-pounds. Next, we add the oil. This bike takes about a liter of oil without the cooler, but since we have the HT oil cooler installed, we need to add an extra 300 milliliters. Don't forget to reinstall the cap. Next up, we're going to start up the bike and let it idle for a few minutes. Finally, we check the sight glass on the side of the motor to make sure our levels are correct. The levels should be between half and 3/4 full. Now that you've changed the oil on your RFS motor, you're free to rip around, go hit the trails, and have some fun.